Yeah.
Is that right here?
Everybody ready to get started? This is management science. And every class, I always put a list of things right here in this corner that are the most important things that will most likely be on the test. I usually put the subjects right there so you can write them quick down, and that way you know what to study. These are the things I'm going to talk about that are probably not, just to remind myself. Okay, I'm going to do things a little differently. I'm going to talk a little bit about like the course outline and the schedule, but we're going to jump right into these subjects because we got to get through today because you have homework due in 2 days. And so we have to get through this. If we don't get through all the other stuff on the course outline, we can just pick up where we left off on Thursday and go through the rest of the stuff. But this stuff we have to get through. You have an in-class assignment today, and you have a homework assignment due Thursday, and so you need this stuff to get through that. Now the good news is, this is probably the, 5 subjects? The 5 easiest subjects of the semester. Almost easy. So when you go home tonight and you go, wow, this homework's so easy, I can't believe this class is going to be great. Don't let your guard down, because this class will be one of the hardest classes you've ever had. But I'm going to try to make it as easy as possible. But for a lot of people who numbers is not your thing, you're going to hate this class. And my advice is, show up. That's the key to doing well in my class, is just show up. Because I'm literally spoon feed you the information you're going to need to prepare you for the quiz. That's what I'm doing. I'm preparing you for everybody to ace the quiz. And then you start to see people start to fall behind, usually from not showing up, and then you fall apart. The good news is, I realize how hard this stuff is, and I want you to kind of be able to feel like it's real world. And when I first graduated from college, I was in my job. I had a lot of, especially when I got into management, I had some difficult decisions to be made. But the one thing I knew is that I could always look things up. Now you gotta remember, I'm an old man, so the internet didn't exist yet. But I could still have resources to go look things up. And you do too, including the internet. So what I'm trying to say is, all of my tests, including the final exam, is open book, open note. You don't have to, the goal of this class isn't to make you memorize things. You don't have to rely on your memory. But you do have to understand how to use everything you're learning here, what they mean, and the sad news is you have to be able to do some calculations. Yeah. So it really brings out, or really emphasizes the analytical side of business. This whole class is about using analytical tools to make good business decisions, especially when you get into management. That's what this is all about, is preparing you for management. Some of you who came into college right out of high school, you'll graduate, and your first few jobs are going to be getting experience. And the next thing you know, you're going to get into management. It'll be inevitable, and you're managing people, and you're having to make decisions for departments, and then eventually you get into upper management, you have to help make decisions for the whole company. And that's where these tools are going to come in heavily involved. And when you have to start going to meetings as a department manager or an assistant manager, a lot of things are talked about that a lot of these things you're going to hear about in this class are involved. So you've got to at least have all the knowledge about this to be able to participate in the meetings, or you'll get lost. And the goal is to help you understand what you need to be successful in your career, so that you can go after the promotions, I guess, right? Or even if you're going to open your own business, so you have the tools to be successful. Many of the tools you're going to learn in this class are all about using math or analytical tools to make decisions and to stop wasting money. That's what a lot of them do. The chapter after this one, which is all about inventory management, that's like a whole job at a big company, is inventory management. Is how do we make sure we're ordering the exact right quantities so that the goods we're ordering from our supplier, raw materials or whatever it may be, arrive just as the last one is being used in manufacturing or being sold, which is called a just-in-time inventory system. And the whole reason that was developed is that a lot of companies realized they were throwing money away by having too much inventory. So they would never lose a sale or never have to stop production. And so they then developed these mathematical tools in the inventory department to say, here's how we can calculate to have the optimal inventory. And by having the optimal inventory, we do both not run out, and at the same time, not have so much money held up in inventory that it's being wasted and we're losing money where we could be using it to expand our business. So, this is what the class is all about, all right? Now, let's start with chapter 13. Again, this is where this class is gonna change along the line for whatever reason. Either we're gonna go too slow, or we're gonna go too fast, and you're gonna see dates changing. Usually though, the quiz dates won't change. What's on the quiz is what's gonna change as we, depending on how fast or slow we go. So that's what you're gonna watch for, is on here is where you can confirm, okay, what's gonna be on the upcoming quiz. You know the date's gonna be September 20th, but is it truly gonna be chapter 13, 10, and 1, or did we start 2 a little bit? Maybe that's, maybe you missed that last lecture before the quiz and you wanna check, this would be the place to go. I'm right now in course information. These are the most common ones you're gonna use. Course content, course information. Here's course information, and course content is where every one of your assignments are located, and all the PowerPoints and everything else you're gonna use for this class. I posted all in course content. Looks like this. So chapter 13, there's your PowerPoint, there's your Excel. Here's where the assignment's gonna be posted. Here's where today's video is gonna be posted. I try to videotape every lecture and I post it up here. And then I opened up an old class so you can see what it looks like. And it looks like this, and you just take the link and you just kind of, sometimes it's not a link and you gotta highlight it, and then you right click and you just say open in a new tab. And right before a quiz, I start to see view after view after view start to take off. And this is a great tool to use to review for the quiz. Is go back and look at the lecture. You're gonna see, how many minutes is this one? Is the time on there? We're gonna do the, oops. 41 minutes and 52 seconds. Okay, so 42 minutes is all you'd have to spend to review whatever this lecture's on. And usually before each quiz, there's maybe 6 lectures at the most probably, so it wouldn't take you that long to use this as your tool to review possibly. And once in a while, a video doesn't turn out. Like today, I'm using my phone because the camera, I forgot to charge it before I got here. So I tried to plug it in, but I forgot this is the phone that the charger has to be just in the right spot or it won't charge. And it was down to 32%. So I knew it would never videotape today. So there's times where I'm doing something crazy like using my own phone. Now if someone calls, it's gonna stop the videotape. And I forgot to turn off the internet. I forgot to go on airplane mode. And if that happens, I'll try to find last semester's tape and I'll plug that in so you don't have to go without, but you know, sometimes that happens. Just so you know, it's not every time gonna be perfect. I'm just gonna do the best I can. Matter of fact, I had planned on using 2 today. In case one didn't work, I had a backup. But the other phone I forgot to bring. And, that just happens. It's kind of weird. I thought that was me for a minute. Is that the same shirt? Yeah. Is it? I always start out with my power shirt. My U of M. This is the first day of last year. So, all right. I looked yesterday, and it said, I can't believe this, that I first started recording and posting videos, it said on March 29th of 16. So it's been 2.5 years. At first though, I wasn't posting a video on every lecture. I was just kind of playing with it to see if anybody would use it, see if it worked out. And then it went from there to, when was the last day of last semester? April 30th maybe? So to 4/30 of 18, I guess. So it's about 2 years and a month. And now you gotta remember this is only students because I don't make these public. I make them unlisted. So you have to go to Blackboard to get the link to watch it. But it says I have 5,981 views of just students. So, and I think most of those though, it really seems to have taken off that last semester in 18 and the fall of 17 is where most of the views are, it seems like. So, people are starting to catch on and utilize it, so you know it's there. All right, you ready? I'm going back to this kind of information. But we gotta get the stuff to prepare for today. Chapter 13, decision analysis. This is real easy stuff. It's just logical, which decision do you recommend? So I'll jump around. This is all these slides are things you're reading on your own at home, blah, 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 right? Right? You're not going to forget to read those. You read them before you got here, that's what it is. What tape is this? All right. These are the approaches. Maxi-max, by the way, is sometimes, I should have put it up here, sometimes called the optimistic approach. Sometimes, matter of fact, some questions in the back of this chapter may say use the optimistic approach. That's maxi-max. Maxi-min is sometimes called the conservative approach. And sometimes we'll say use the conservative approach. And then there's mini-max regret. This involves a table. So that's a big hint. Expected value. This involves percentages. And then EVPI is the expected value for some perfect information. Additional information that will lead you to a better decision. And we'll show you how to calculate it. Let's start with this. Are you ready? Now, a lot of students find it hard to show work when doing this, let's say in the maxi-max. I'm going to explain the logical steps, but as far as showing work, and that's a big part of every quiz and your homework and your in-class assignment, is show the steps you took logically to get to the solution. Even if you're just doing it in your head, whatever you do in your head, write a little something down that explains how you got to the solution. Because this is going to be right in front of you while you're taking your quiz. You want to remember that logical step you took. And I grade on that you are putting the work, not just the answer. So, right now, I see that there's 3 decisions that we're trying to think about. You got to put yourself in the mind of the manager and look at this. There's 3 different decisions. The manager's saying, hey, I don't know which decision will be best. Here's what I put together. Here's the things that we as a business can't have control over at all, called states of nature usually. In this example, let's pretend the states of natures are the economy. We could have lots of sales, or we could have average sales, or we could have weak sales. We don't know what the economy is. This could be a brand new product we're going into. And we don't know, these decisions could be, I don't know, going with a big one, going with a medium one, going with a small one. Whatever this is, I'm making this up on the fly right now because it doesn't matter. What I want you to recognize out of this is that there are decisions and there are states of natures. The decisions is what you're trying to figure out which would be the best under certain circumstances. The states of nature are the things that are out of your control. That you don't know what's going to be in the future. You don't know what the economy is going to be like. You don't know how sales are going to be like. And right now, these state of natures are along the top and decisions along the side. That's not how it always is. Sometimes the decisions are here, sometimes the state of natures are here. So when you look at a table, say to yourself, okay, which ones are the decisions, which ones are the state of nature? Don't make an assumption that they're at top every time. Now, in most of our examples, the state of natures will be along the top, but again, in real life, that's not necessarily the case. State of natures. I don't know what % chance of whatever this represents, great sales. I don't know what % chance of average sales. I don't know what % chance. We haven't done enough research yet to know what our economy is going to be like to insert percentages. So this is just raw data. Right now, I want to know what would be the best decision if we decide to use our optimistic approach called maxi-max. And here's the maxi-max approach. You look at each decision, key words there, you're not starting with the state of nature. You look at each decision and you pick the best possible outcome for every decision and you write it down. Decision 1, well, those numbers could represent thousands of dollars per month of profit. If we go with decision 1 and we happen to have great sales, we're going to make $4,000 profit for the month. This could be daily, weekly, I'm just making things up. 4,000. If we go with decision 1 and we have average sales, because we don't know what the economy has, we're going to make $4,000 profit. But if we go with decision 1 and we have weak sales, for that period of time, month or whatever, we're losing $2,000. Now this happens to be what's called a profit table. This is a positive profit of $4,000. This is a positive $4,000. This is losing $2,000. Now I want to read this again, but this time let's pretend this is a cost table. This is telling us how much cost is involved if we make that decision and this state of nature takes place. We go with decision 1, state of nature 1 takes place. It's going to cost us $4,000 for the week. State of nature 2 is going to cost us $4,000. But state of nature 3, if this is a cost table, it's not cost us anything. Matter of fact, we're going to come out ahead $2,000, which is the best situation you would like to have if this is a cost table. The 4, the negative 2. I usually plug this in first day, I always forget. So it won't go off like this when I plug it in. Which one's best if this is the cost table? The 4, the negative 2? The negative 2. As a manager, you don't want it to cost you anything. You'd love to have that 2,000 instead. Change it the other way now. This is a profit table. This is the profit contribution. Look at decision 1. What's the best solution? The 4, or the negative 2? 4. And if it profit, you'd rather make 4,000 than lose 2,000. So you pick the best solution, which is a 4. There has to be 2 of them, there's a 4. Go to decision 2. We're sticking with this being a profit table. Best solution, 0, 3, or 1, or negative 1? 3. Decision 3, best solution, 1, 5, negative 3. Now, the best solution you said is a 4, a 3, and a 5. Now we're doing Maxi-Max. Maxi-Max says once you find the best outcome for each decision, you pick the best of the best. That's why it's so optimistic. Well, there's a 4, a 3, and a 5. What's the best of those? The 5, which is decision what? You're recommending. Your answer's you're gonna show work. Decision 1 is a 4. Decision 2 is a 3. Decision 3 is a 5. You circle the 5, you say, I'm recommending decision 3. You put an arrow towards the 5, that's showing work. If you use Maxi-Max, you're showing me you pick the best outcome for each decision. Is that almost too easy, right? Best of the best? That's how I remember it. Best of the best. All right, so that's it. That's the first one. It's that easy. Too easy, right? Let's keep going. Maxi-Min, conservative approach. This is called the conservative approach because this time you're looking at the decisions again, not the state of natures, decisions one at a time, and you're picking the worst possible outcome. It's conservative approach. What's the worst that could happen to us if we go with decision 1? Again, this is a profit table. The 4, the negative 2 would be the worst outcome. We go with decision 1. The negative 2. Decision 2, worst outcome. Negative 1. Decision 3, the worst outcome. Negative 3. So the worst outcome, if this is a profit table, is losing 2,000. Decision 2, losing 1,000. Decision 3, losing 3,000. The worst scenario is we're losing money. Maxi-Min, the conservative approach says, now that you've found the worst possible outcome for each decision, go with whichever one's the best of the worst. So I'll repeat. Decision 1, you said negative 2. Decision 2, negative 1. Decision 3, negative 3. Which is the best of those worst scenarios? Which one? The -1, which is which decision? Decision 2. You're going to show, you show the negative 2, you show the negative 1, you show the negative 3, you circle the negative 1, you put an arrow there, recommendation. Decision 2. You're showing me work doing the Maxi-Min approach, which is called the conservative approach, because you're going with the worst scenario, and then you pick the best of the worst. And that's usually the abbreviation I put to remember it, best of the worst. It's going fast because it's that easy. You ready? Mini-max regret. Still on the same table. Mini-max regret. Mini-max regret says, you go to that chapter, go to that. By the way, we're jumping around. This is the 14th edition that I'm using. I believe the 15th is out. Is that correct? Anybody? No one knows? But did anybody get my email where I'm telling you to please consider using what? Say it again. 14th edition or? Anybody?
One previous.
Say it again.
One previous. Or
Any
13.
previous edition, matter of fact. Not just the one previous. Watch the camera.
Yeah,
Right there.
Camera.
Got it? You okay? Okay. Any previous edition, because you can find the previous editions for like $20 on the internet. And, you know, I know I'm old, but I'm not too old to forget how really poor I was when I was in college. No, you're not even imagining yet. I was so poor that on my way home and to school, I would pick up cans along the road just so I had gas money to get back from school home. That's how poor I was. I mean, I had such an awful, rotten old car that I would have to in the morning take off. This is when carburetors exist. Anybody remember a carburetor? Anybody know what a carburetor is? Okay. Take off the air cleaner, put a pencil in the carburetor to hold the flap open, get the car started, run back out, get the pencil out, put the air cleaner back on, get to school, then in the parking lot, as embarrassing as it is, do it all over again so I can get back home and stop for gas and not shut off the car on the way. So anyway, I don't know what the point was. I was saying I'm a poor college student for some reason. What was it?
Textbooks.
Oh, yeah. So don't spend more than 40, 50 bucks for this book, because, you know, they're usually, this is like 200, I think, isn't it? Anybody know? Brand new? What was it in the bookstore? Anybody? 180, 200? Man, I mean, to me, that's a lot of beer. When I was in college, we drank a case of Big Light every week. And if we didn't have beer money, I don't know what we'd do. Don't get me wrong, I don't drink anymore. I'm just telling you backwards. So that's how important it is. You know, so I know how hard it is to have the money. Also, the book will say, oh, it's 180 or 200, and it comes with the disc. Yeah, we are going to use the software, but you don't need the disc. If you first of all, if you need the software on your computer, just bring a flash drive, and I'll transfer it on there to your flash drive for you, and you can put it on your computer. Really, you can just run it off the flash drive. I just run it off of, I don't even know if I have it on the hard drive, I'm sure I might. But you don't want to bring a flash drive and let me give you the software. Just use what's called Lab Anywhere. Is there anybody who has no idea what I'm talking about? There's only 2 people, everyone else knows what Lab Anywhere is. Okay, is there anybody willing to admit they know exactly what Lab Anywhere is? They know what it is. And all the rest of you are just not raising your hand at all. So, I don't know what that means. All right, so, I'm going to show you. I'm just picking a page at random, any U of M page. Go to any U of M page and then go up here to where it says search. All right? Again, how do I get in there? Did I hit search? Why is it not letting me?
Our website sucks.
Yeah,
Just go to your My U of M.
it's in here?
No, like.
Yeah, go in there. It should be in that list.
On list is Lab Anywhere?
Yeah.
If it is, that's great. There it is. Thank you. I did not know that. Lab Anywhere is right there. Click there. Pick the, don't install this, pick the HTML, just do it right online, you got high-speed internet at home. Now, this takes a while to load, I'm just gonna get started. But when it does load, it's like you're sitting in front of a lab computer, but you're at home. I mean, it's the exact, you're gonna see 2 start buttons. There's your start button for your computer, it'll be right above it for the lab computer that you're on. It's mirroring it. This mirrors it like you're sitting in front of a lab computer here at school. Why come up here when you get it right here? So you want to go with, this is new. I don't know what that W10 stands for. Is that a building? No one knows. I'll go with this one because I don't even know what this is. We've never had two different labs on there before. Then you just click on the lab. It's going to ask me to log in. You know, I want to see my password. Oh, I didn't have to log in.
No.
Because I had logged in before I walked in here. Maybe it's already still got me logged in. Anyway, you put in your username and password just like you're logging in your email at Blackboard. And then, where is it here? I don't know how to make it smaller. It's still loading, I think. Must be still loading. But right here will be another start button for the computer you're on. So it's just, just like you're sitting in front of a lab computer. And then I'll show you, and you'll see, you'll open it up, you'll go to all programs, and then you gotta scroll down to the word the. And I don't have it on here under the word the. PQRST. It would be right there. It will say the management scientist is the name of it, you guys, if you write it down. The management scientist. And when you see me demo the software, that's where you can go ahead and use it from home, is right off of that Lab Anywhere, or you can bring a flash drive and do it, have it on your computer if you want. Let's see if it's loaded. Nope. I don't know what, it's there, but where, there it is. See that little start button right there? Well, it won't open up for some reason. Why is that? Usually you would open this up right here, and then you'd go to all programs, and then you go down the list to the word the, it would say the management scientist. Let me open mine up real quick. Let me see if I can open up this way. No? I don't know what's going on. Don't look up. Alright. Anyway, when you open it up, let me get to it here. There it is, management scientist, right here. And you double click, it looks like this, and then you go like that. Oh. If you get a runtime error, that means right click on it, left click on run as administrator. You do this one time, if you get that runtime error, and it will run from that point on. Right click, left click on run as administrator, say yes. There it is. There's all your little modules. What are we doing right now? We're doing decision analysis right here. We're not going to use the software for decision analysis. How many decision alternatives? How many states of nature? We're looking at, what was it? 3 decisions, right? 3 decisions, 3 states of nature, I think. We don't have state of nature probabilities. We're still on maxi max, maxi min. And then you put here the outcome possible. We would put 4,000, 4,000, negative 2,000, or 4, negative 2, 0. We'd enter those numbers in and we'd use the software to do it. I'm going to keep going by hand though. This is so easy. On the quiz, you're not going to do it by software, you're going to do it by hand anyway. Minimax regret. Here's the difference between minimax regret and these other two. You go to the state of natures, not the decisions this time. This is the first time you're going directly to the state of natures and not the decision. All right? When you look at the state of nature, again, we're calling this a profit table, not a cost table at this point. When you look at the state of natures, you're looking for which state of nature, which decision under that state of nature is the best possible outcome for the state of nature. So, on that state of nature 1, what is the best outcome for state of nature 1? A 4, a 0, or a 1? What is it? 4. 0 means break even for the month or week or whatever the time period is. 1 means making 1,000. 4 means making 4,000 for that week or month or whatever time period. The best scenario under that state of nature, don't forget, this isn't decision, state of nature, is the 4. Now you take every other possible outcome in that state of nature and subtract it from the best, and then use, I can't think of the words, absolute value. Then use absolute value. I'm drawing it out because I couldn't think of the word. All right, let's start with the first one. You told me the best scenario is 4,000. Subtract 4,000 from everything, or 4,000 minus everything, because you're using absolute value, doesn't matter, whichever direction you want to do it. 4,000 minus 4,000 is 0. 4,000 minus 0, or 0 minus 4,000 is a 4. Absolute value means you get rid of the negative. So if I went 0 minus 4, I got negative 4. Get rid of the negative, it's still a difference of 4. 1 minus 4 is negative 3, or 3. Get rid of the negative, we're using absolute value. Okay, help me out with state of nature 2. Which is best? Give me the number. 5. What number goes on top here for regret? Help me out. 1. Thank you. What number goes in the middle?
2.
2. What number goes on the bottom?
0.
You got it. 5 minus 4 is 1, or 4 minus 5 is negative 1. Drop the negative, absolute value. 3 minus 5, or 5 minus 3, 5 minus 5. Let's go to state of nature 3. Best scenario. This is tough. Negative 1. Now think about this. We're going to use absolute value, but you've got to first leave the negatives in and subtract. You ready? What was the best? Negative 1? So negative 1 minus negative 2. I'm at the top here. Negative 1 minus negative 2 would be negative 1 plus 2, which would be positive 1. Is that correct? So whichever way I go, I'm going to end up getting positive 1 or negative 1. Drop the negative, absolute value. The middle one, negative 1 minus negative 1 is 0. Negative 1 minus negative 3, or negative 3 minus negative 1. Let's do it that way. Negative 3 minus negative 1 would be negative 3 plus 1, which is negative 2. Absolute value, 2. You just put together what's called the regret table, which is the first step of mini-max regret. That's why I put the word table next to it. That's the first step. And where most people, I say this every semester and someone's still going to do it. I'm looking around. Every class, somebody's going to take this table and they're going to make it based on decisions instead of states of nature. So I'm giving you this, I'm emphasizing this right now. This is a very common mistake. No matter where the state of natures are, if they're in the rows or in the columns, Mini-max regret's all about states of nature, not decisions. The maxi-max and the maxi-min, they were decisions, but not mini-max regret, state of nature. Now I have my regret table. The next step is to now switch gears to the decisions and pick the maximum you would regret if you went with that decision. This is called the max regret. I don't know if you guys over there can't see this. I'm just writing the word max here, forming a column. Look at decision one. We switch gears to decisions. What's the most you could regret if you end up making that decision?
2.
1. See, there's a 1 there, and a 0. The biggest amount of regret's a 1. Second decision, what's the most you could regret? 4. And the third decision, the most regret you could have? 3. So I got a 1, 4, and 3. The next step is your recommendation. And your recommendation is based on you choosing whichever decision would give management the least regret of those max regrets. Did everybody hear that? It's the least of the max regrets. Which decision are we recommending? Decision 1, 2, or 3? Decision 1. Decision 1, you're going to write, is the least of the max regrets. This is called mini-max regret. You're finding the maximum regret possible based on what could happen in the state of nature. For example, we went with decision 1. We could be making 4,000, 4,000, or negative 2,000. If we end up having this state of nature take place, we're going to regret we went with decision 1. And how much regret are we going to have? Well, we could have 0 regret, 1, or 1. And we're going with that 1. Because the reason we could have that much regret is because if we had known that state of nature was in our future, we would have went with decision 2, which would have means we only lost 1,000 instead of 2,000. That's why we have regret of 1,000. Because what could have happened had we made a better decision? Well, we made the best decision we could. We wanted to minimize the amount of regret that would take place in case we made the wrong decision, because we have no idea what state of nature is going to take place. We don't know. All right, how are we doing? We got to keep track of time here.
6
Oh,
o'clock.
shoot.
6 o'clock.
Thank you. We got my alarm set, which is probably going to stop that video. Is that video still running as far as you can see? It
I
is?
don't know if it ever started because the red square is still. I don't know if we ever.
No,
pressed.
square, I started it. That square means it's running, right, you guys? Am I wrong? Just look at the top and see if the number's moving.
Timer on
Oh,
there.
the timer's moving. You just
Is
can't see it.
Okay.
Well, that's going to be an awkward moment of the video. All right? But the good thing is I'm going to teach you how to edit a video. Look at, we're jumping all over the place, but that's the only way to keep this class, keep you awake, jump around, right? All right? I don't want you to snooze on me. So here's the deal. This is called Zillion Solutions. I'm sure you guys have been inundated with emails about this, but I want to take it a step farther and encourage you to do this, because I wish this were available when I was in college. All you got to do is put a 2-minute or less, don't go over 2 minutes, 2 minutes or less of video together. Use your phone, whatever you want. And what you're going to be presenting in this video is you recognize a problem and you have a better solution for that. You're just telling your idea. And if your idea is that good, you win money. That's all this contest is. And I mean, it couldn't be easier. You're supposed to come up with either a product or a service that will make a problem better. The whole point of this video that you're supposed to put together, 2 minutes or less, is that you're recognizing a problem and you have an idea of a solution, whether it be a service or a product to that problem. Now, what I did is I went to, where's chapter 13 here? I went to like chapter 13 right here, and I want to pretend like I used my phone and I made a video. But I walked up to the camera to see if it was running, and that's in the middle of my video. So what I do when I get home from class tonight is that I whip my computer out and I hook my phone up and I transfer the file of today's video, just copy and paste it onto my laptop. So it's on my hard drive while I'm trying to get some food together. And then I take that video, I'm trying to find one here. And like, you see an MP4 on here or something? Any kind of video here. Gosh, okay. Any other, you saw one? Up or down? Up. You see one? You see one? No, down.
No, very top top. Some of us.
Oh, right there? Right there? Is that a video?
Yeah.
That's a video. You then, let's say that's the video, it came from your phone, so right now it just says like video or something. Change the name of it, so it's something, and then right click on it, put open with, and left click on Movie Maker. Now I'm not gonna do it, because when you then opens up Movie Maker, the video you made, even though it's only 2 minutes long, it takes several minutes to load up into that Movie Maker. I've never made one so short, so I'm not positive how long, but if I would have loaded that one, you'll see this bar going across here, and this is an hour long, and it took, I would say 15, 20 minutes to load. So I'll eat tonight while this video is loading. Then once it's loading, I started it way before I started lecturing, so I cut that off, and what I do is you just hit play, it goes and goes, and you go, okay, here's where maybe you really want to start. So you stop it right there, and then I always go up here where it says edit, and I hit split. And it puts a split there, and then I left click, right click, left click, right click, left click, left click, no, right click. Right click on there, and then I left click on remove, where's remove? Right there. I'm not gonna do it on this one because I don't wanna edit this video, but then I'd remove that. And then, so tonight, if I can find that spot where I just walked up, I'll remove that little part. And that's the reason I'm showing this to you is because anybody in here can make a 2-minute video or less, even edit it if you want to, and enter this contest. For, you know, what can you win? How much money?
$32.50.
Well, hang on, there's 13 prizes totaling 6,000. So 32.50 is the biggest prize?
Yeah, you could walk away essentially with all that if
So
you
there's,
select it.
with all, what do you mean with all that?
So there's
There's 13 prizes, you can't win all 13.
No, but there's different categories at the end. I'm with the Hagerman Center.
All right, and so you're saying one video could win more than one prize?
Yeah, one video could win 3 prizes. You could win grand prize, crowd favorite at the end. So this is the finalists. So all different schools, so the School of Management, the School of Nursing, the School of whatever, Science, whatever, are all gonna have individual semi-finalists.
Okay.
So each school will have its own winner,
Okay.
and then all those winners from all the individual schools will compete at the final competition, and then there's a lot more prize money to be given out at that point.
Well, okay, this timeline, I thought this isn't, okay, it's not due until November 8th. What's this September 25th thing right here? What do you gotta do here?
So that's the other thing I was wanting to mention.
Oh, these are
So
big
even if
sessions, you don't have to do those.
No, but in these sessions, we're gonna help you come up with ideas, and maybe you don't even have a completely developed idea, or you just kinda have some baseline stuff. And in those sessions,
I'm
we're
selling
going
it.
to
So if you don't
actually
have one, let me know.
we can record the videos for you too. So
What?
it relieves that burden too. So I mean, really, you have absolutely no excuses at this
All right, I'm not offering extra credit, even though I try to figure out how to, but I am highly encouraging you to do this. I mean, how many things have you come across that you've had good ideas for, and why not just make a quick little video and see if you can win some money from it? Obviously, the money's to encourage you to follow up on the idea, I guess, I'm not sure.
And it doesn't have to be a crazy professional video. You don't have to have a suit. You don't have to be.
Just has to be a great idea.
It just has to be a good idea.
Yeah, and I got a folder full at home. Now, all I'm asking for is a third, not for me, but for this fund I'm putting together for U of M. It'll be so a third will have to be contributed to the endowment fund that I'm putting together. But I'll go ahead and give you any of the ideas, but you have to make the video and you gotta follow up and do all the details. I've got a folder full. And I'll never follow up.
Can you submit more than one idea?
Yeah. You can? Well, folder full?
I think on the form of something it limits you to 4.
Oh, it
You
does?
could probably keep doing
4 ideas per video? Oh.
Yeah.
Multiple videos.
Is that true? Yeah, if you're with Hagerman, you're working with Hagerman Center, so is it true only 4 can be submitted per team or per person? You don't have to do this individually, you can do it as a team or whatever, but I would do it individually, just take all the money.
Yeah, I think we are putting. I know you can do more than one. I think we're still trying to finalize those
Alright,
specifics right
so
there.
somewhere on here it might say 4, but.
If you go to the form summary underneath the submission page, up top,
Really?
go up top.
You looked into it because you're thinking about it.
No, I
You got a good
actually
idea?
made that webpage.
Oh, you made the webpage.
Yeah.
Oh, I got an email from you about you're updating a lot of stuff for school management. Okay.
Oh no, if you go up to the top, and there's actually other YouTube videos you can reference if you want to see last year's winners too. If you go
What?
to submissions.
Under here?
Yep.
Really? We can see how many won last year? Like, was there 13 winners or whatever last year too?
No, this is the first year we're breaking it down into the different schools.
But there are more than one winner last year?
Yeah.
And then, so here are several videos then?
There's three.
3.
Yeah, and if
Okay.
you scroll down, grand
Right
prize,
there,
first
okay.
runner-up, and yeah.
All right.
So you can see everybody.
I hope this encouraged somebody to try this, because there's somebody here at least thinking about it. All right, feel free to email me if you want any coaching or any advice on how to use Movie Maker or whatever.
Come on, people.
Because I've made
God.
244 videos I've posted between those dates, so I got it down. All right, let's get back to the good stuff. You ready? Expected value. We're here. You can make a recommendation using Maxi-Max, Maxi-Min, and Mini-Max Regret, right? So now we're on expected value. Expected value says, wow, you know, we did some research, and we think there's a blankety blank % chance of State of Nature 1 being in our future. And we believe there's a blankety blank % chance of State of Nature 2 and a blankety blank % chance of State of Nature 3. The key is these percentages have to add up to 100%. Because one of these State of Natures are going to take place. We don't know which one. But if you're applying a % chance to it because of some additional information you're able to get your hands on, then you apply a % chance for each State of Nature. So I wrote some State of Nature chances here. I just got to look. We're going to go with 40% for State of Nature 1, 20% for State of Nature 2, and 40% for State of Nature 3. If you notice, they add up to 100% chance. One of these State of Natures are going to take place. Expected value. Here's your little definition. You multiply, again, you're working with decisions. Everybody hear that? Not State of Nature, it's decisions. And in these decisions, one at a time, you're calculating what's called the expected value based on these probabilities with each of its possible outcomes. Let's look at decision 1. What % chance of State of Nature taking place, did I say?
40.
40% times the possible outcome if we did go with decision 1 and State of Nature 1 took place. 40% of 4 is 1.6. Does that sound right? Okay. Decision 1, though, if State of Nature 2 takes place, what % chance is there State of Nature 2 could take place? 20%. 20% times 4, that's 0.8, I think. Is that right? 8 or 0.8? 0.8, right? Is that 20%? So what was this one? 1.6, 0.8. The next decision, losing 2,000 or 2. % chance is 40%, because you told me 40-20, so all that's left is 40%. Times -2 would be -0.8. Does that sound right? Did I do something wrong?
No, did you, that is previous information that you would have had otherwise, right?
Right here?
Yeah.
Yeah. If you're given probabilities, the question is probably going to say calculate expected value. Because you're given the probabilities on any of these problems that you're expected to do expected value on. You're going to be given the probabilities. All right? So then you add up what you got. All right? So I'm going to go right here. 4 times 40%, I said I think is 1.6. 4 times 20% is 0.8. Does that sound right? Plus, this is 40% again. 40% times 2 is -0.8. So this would be -0.8 if I'm doing this right. 1.6 times the 2.8s cancel each other out. That leaves me with 1.6 is the expected value for decision 1. I multiplied each possible outcome by its corresponding probabilities and then add them together. I'm going to do this now with decision 2. I'm going to do it again with decision 3. And then I have 3 different values there. I don't know if my math is right or wrong. Someone's got to jump in if I'm making mistakes, will you please? So 0 times 40%, 0. Is that correct? And next is 3 times 20%, 0.6, I believe. Does that sound right? And then I got -1 times 40%, which would be -0.4. I put this together, I get, what is that, 0.2? Am I doing this right? Boy, this sure seems awfully odd. Is this right? We're still going? All right, let's keep going. Next one, I got, we got a lot of stuff here. 1 times 40%. What is that, 0.4? Then I got 5 times 20%. Is that a 1? And then I have -3 times 40%. 3 times 4 is 12. What, -1.2? Does that sound right? So now I add these together. I have 0.4. 1.4 minus 1.2. Is that 0.2? Anybody else get the same numbers? Now you found the expected value for each decision based on the probabilities that correspond with each state of nature, and you have to make a recommendation now. And your recommendation is all about, don't forget, this is a profit table. Which decision are you recommending based on the expected values? 1, 2, or 3? Decision 1, decision 2, or decision 3? Which one are you recommending based on the expected values? And this is a profit table. 1, because it has the highest expected value. Now, I didn't go through the PowerPoints one by one. And we got so far where it got through maxi max, maxi min, mini max regret, expected value. Now I'm going to go kind of fast, but you ready? This is what we didn't look at. Here is the best possible payoff for each decision. 4, 3, and 5. This is maxi max. 4, 3, and 5. Which one's the best of them? The 5. You told me decision 3 on maxi max would be your recommendation because it's the best of the best. And here's using Excel, which I'm going to come back to in a minute. Maxi min, mini max, excuse me. Maxi min, excuse me. You pick the worst of each decision. Losing 2, losing 1, losing 3. Then you pick the best of the worst. You told me decision 2, because you'd rather only lose 1,000 compared to 2 or 3,000. That's your recommendation. There's using Excel to do it. Now, here's the regret table. Look familiar. This is where we took the best from each state of nature and subtracted everything from it, and we got our regrets. Then we went and looked at each decision and found the maximum regrets right there. 1, 4, 3. Then we picked the least of the maximum regrets to make our recommendation. And we recommended decision 1. Then we put a big arrow there, we put a big circle around it because it was the smallest, of the maximum regrets. That's mini max regret. Now, and there's using Excel. Now expected value. Forget that formula because I showed you the easy way to do it. You just apply the percent times the individual outcomes. Now this chart's a little different than what we've been using, but the same concept. Let's go with 40%, 20%, 40% for each state of nature again. You ready? We're thinking about building a big building. Is that big? Big building, medium building, small building. This is only 80 customers coming per hour, 100, 120. All right, this would be great. This would be, hey, they came. We picked the right location. This is, we didn't do enough advertising. What's going on here? We don't know what the state of natures are, right? Here's our state of natures. Here's our decision. We're trying to decide which one to build. Should we go with the big restaurant, the medium, or the small? We're going into this franchise. We got a bunch of data. We're trying to figure out which one we should build. Look at what happens if we build the small one. No? Is that it? Is that the small one? I guess it is. No, this is the big one, isn't it? All right, this is a small one. Medium, big. What if we build the big one, but we only have 80 customers an hour showing up? We're still going to make money. This is 6,000 per hour or 6,000 per day, whatever this is. But look at what we could have made. And had we not built the big one because of all that overhead, and we would have went with the small one because we knew somehow we looked at a magic ball, we went to the woman in New Jersey, she said the dead people told us that there's only 80 an hour going to be coming, we would have went there with a smaller building. Instead of only making 6,000, we don't have all the overhead, we're making 10,000 a day or a week or whatever this represents. We apply the percentages, 40%, 20%, 40%. First decision, small building, Model A. 10,000 times 40%, $4,000. 15,000 times 20%, that's $3,000. 14,000 times 40%, that's, help me out, 56,000. 5,600, excuse me. We add them all together. And we get 12,600 for the first one. We do the same thing with the second decision. 8,000 times 40%, 18,000 times 20%, 12,000 times 40%. We get an expected value, 11,600. Third decision, the big building. 6,000, 16,000, 21,000 times the corresponding probabilities for each state of nature. Get an expected value. That table represented how much money we could make per hour or week or whatever it represented, but it was profit. It was money making, and that's cost. Which recommendation are you going to recommend based on expected value approach? Model A, B, or C in this case? Because it garnishes the biggest expected value with not knowing what the state of natures had involved, except for we were able to apply some probabilities to the state of nature, which gave us a better indication as to which outcome would probably work out best for us. All right? You got it. Let's for a moment pretend this is a cost table. Nothing changes. Expected values are calculated the exact same way. The only thing that's going to change at this moment is what your recommendation is. Because I just got done telling you this is a cost table. And you're now recommending decision what? Model A, Model B, or Model C? A and B. Why? I heard A and B. Whichever one's the lowest expected value, 12,600, 11,600, you're recommending decision Model B based on expected value because it was a cost table, not a profit table. You got it? There's only one more thing to learn from this chapter. You guys are realizing how easy this chapter is, yes? When you see some head shaking? Okay. All right. Don't let it bring your guard down. It will get harder, I promise. EVPI. I start to lose some people right here. EVPI. Going back to this. Okay. Here's what I want to say about EVPI that you need to have in your notes. Find the best outcome for each state of nature, not decision. We're back to state of natures again. All right? So Maxi-Max was all about decisions. Maxi-Min was all about decisions. Mini-Max regret was all about state of natures. Expected value was all about decisions. But we're back to state of natures. This is the first step of EVPI, expected value of perfect information. What's the best one in state of nature one? What's the best outcome without me pointing out what the possible outcomes are? Give me a number. 10,000. Everybody who said 10,000 went to state of nature one, looked at every possible outcome, said this is a profit table, there's the best. State of nature two, best possible outcome is right there. And state of nature three, best possible outcome, right there. You pull out the best possible outcomes for each state of nature and multiply that best possible outcome by the probability of that state of nature. So, in state of nature one, we're pulling out the 10,000, multiplying it by the 40%. We're at 4,000, right? 40% of 10,000. State of nature two, you told me the best one was 18,000 times 20%. So, that's 3.6, that's 3,600, anybody? What do I think? I don't know if you're truly agreeing or. And then state of nature three, you said 21,000 times 40%. 10,000 is 2,100 times 4, 2, 4, 6, 8, 84. 84 plus 84. Whoops. Now I add up the very best possible outcomes from each state of nature after they've been multiplied by the probabilities for each state of nature. This plus this plus this. Now I'll make sure everybody hears this. The last step is you then, after you add those up, subtract the best recommendation that you made when you calculated the expected values. Now, let's go back to expected value. Does anybody remember what we recommended? Was it 1, 2, or 3? Which one was it?
C.
C. And how much was the expected value? That is what we're subtracting at the end of this calculation. We already can get around 14,000 without any additional information. What you're calculating is how much more we could possibly get if we could get some additional information. And this additional information that's being offered to us is going to cost money. So what you're calculating is the most you should ever spend for this additional information, or you just wasted money. That's what you're calculating. Because it'll only increase, the probability will only increase of you getting the amount you're about to calculate. So why spend more than that? This is the most you need to spend, because this is the amount you'll most likely increase in outcome. So let's do it again. You ready? We picked the best outcome for state of nature 1 times 40%, the best outcome times 20% for state of nature 2, state of nature 3, the best one. We added them together. Hang on. Where's my answer? We took this, we added them together, and then at the end we subtracted the expected value we could have got without any additional information, which was 14,000. You guys told me to build Model C, right? And the difference between all that, this is the most we would want to spend. Matter of fact, why spend the full 2,000? If you're offering me this marketing research for 1,500 and it's going to lead me to a better decision, I'll take it. Because odds are will probably increase my expected value by 2,000, and you're offering it for 1,500. I'll come out at 500. Let's do it. That's what that number does for you. It's the most you should pay for additional information that would lead you to a better decision somehow. The additional information will give you more, enough to say, let's go with Model C or B or something like that. Okay? That's the chapter. You have enough information to do your in-class and your homework. We're doing our in-class takes 12 minutes, so 6:33. And the alarm's going on. We'll probably stop the video anyway. Meanwhile, before we get to it, let's talk a little more about this. My office hours. When you get to the top of the steps, when you came upstairs at this floor, if you would have went straight, there's a lobby right there in this in that office. You open the door, that's the back of the offices. I'm down on the right, the second door on the right. I mean, I couldn't be any closer to the lobby. There's 2 offices down from the lobby on the right. I think I'm asking everybody to stop by my office once this semester. Let me go to, where's participation? Let's see. 40% is based on your attendance. 15%, send me at least 2 emails in the semester. You got 15 weeks, okay? 2 emails, not handing something in. Could be asking a question, it could be saying, hey, I'm just getting my participation in. They gotta be on 2 different days, not the last day of classes. Right? 2 different days, 2 emails is all I'm asking for this semester, not handing something in. Office visits, I took it down to 1. You, on your way to class, or something, or walk me after class to my office, all I'm asking for is 1 office visit this semester. And you fulfilled that part. You just make sure I write it down that you stopped by and said hi. Then you don't even have to have a legitimate question. I hope you do, but you don't have to. Just remind me to write it down. And that's 10% of your participation grade. Stopping by my office once, so there's my, you know where it's at. At the end of the semester, I'll bug the heck out of you to do the evaluation. That's 5% of your participation. Helping others in the in-class assignments. I'm watching for people to help each other. That's 15% of your participation. Speaking up during my lectures, answering my arbitrary questions. Let me hear your voice once in a while. That's 15%. Attendance is your biggest part. Participation is what percent of your grade? It is 6% of your full grade. So participation is 6% of your grade. A small part of participation is to stop by my office. You know where it's at. And if for some reason you can't stop by my office, please sign up for a Skype account or have FaceTime. And we'll do it using FaceTime or Skype from home. Get your office visit in. Or if you just need real help, I'll FaceTime Skype just about any time as long as I'm not lecturing. Right? So, let's see. Your classes are on Tuesday and Thursday, so I have my office hour from 4:55 to 5:15, which is before your class start. Gives me 15 minutes to get down here and get everything set up. Then 10 minutes after every lecture, the whole semester, I always set aside to do office visit if someone has any questions or just wants to get their office visit out of the way. That's it. Mondays and Wednesdays, if you're around, I'm also here from 3:25 to 3:45 because I have a lecture starting at 4 o'clock, so it's the same logic. It gives me 15 minutes to get to that lecture. And then 10 minutes after any of those lectures, I'm around too if you want to try to catch me on a Monday or Wednesday. Then I'm not on campus on Fridays, just Monday through Thursday. And that's it for office hours. What are we doing? We have 3 more minutes. What else can we talk about? In-class assignments is 20% of your grade. Participation is 6%. Your homework is 16%. Your 4 quizzes, let me show you those. Your 4 quizzes, September 20th, October 9th, October 30th, November 20th. Those are worth 9.5% each, a total of 38% of your grade is those quizzes, open book, open note. Your final exam is 20% of your grade. This final exam is where you either go for it and get your grade to where you want it, or you fall apart. It's a big part of your grades, and it is cumulative. Does that answer your question? Go ahead.
How many questions do you usually quizzes retain on?
A quiz?
Yeah, how many questions are usually?
Usually it's like 8 or 9, depending, but it's it almost always lasts 60 minutes, and it's timed. It's open book, open note. In the old days, you'll read. Sometimes students will post things that will say that nobody ever finishes the quizzes, but I've changed them. You'll finish the quiz. It's open book, open note. But I grade on curve, so it's like your competition's like everybody around you. The curve is based on whoever did the best, and it goes from there. And go ahead.
Can those be made up as?
They are made up as they go along. You talk about the quizzes because I changed the quiz every single semester for 29 years. It's my 29th year, maybe my 30th, I can't remember. I changed it. Every single quiz, every single semester. You can look at old quizzes if you get them from somebody, which is fine to help you prepare. The questions will be different, the numbers will be different, but you can't have it out while you're taking the quiz. It can't be part of your notes. Okay, you can't have one of my old quizzes because there's probably a lot of parts that are close to it.
Do I have to schedule that with you if I'm gonna miss? Like, I won't be here September 20th. It's like the one day I can't.
Oh, that's fine, yeah. No, I'll if you can't make the September 20th, oh, it's up there. If you can't make it for some reason, yeah, just get a hold of me and we'll make arrangements.